Right. So thank you very much, ladies. So my name is Joanne Brooks, the founder of Navigate Biz and the creator of the Her Transformation Program. This is really just a really rich, casual conversation with the mentors who are in the program. So maybe if I share with you first why on earth did I create this thing? Got Cheryl. I'm doing admin at the same time, so that's good. Cheryl's in twice now. Happy days. We've got two Cheryls. Great. So the Her Transformation Program came about because, oh gosh, Simone, you and I have known each other the longest, I feel. When I first started my very first business, T3 Australia, way back, I'm going to say that was 2003, 2004, something like that. I don't know. It was a long time ago. A long time ago. And I've owned and built a lot of businesses in that time with some great success. And I've also liquidated some massive companies. And and at the time that happened 8 years ago, I then started Navigate Biz with a business partner of mine. And the idea was that we would help and support business owners so that they did not become a failure, one of those horrible statistics of failure. Now, we can argue the point. Is it 65%? Is it 90% of small businesses that fail? For me, the number is literally just not good enough. And it's devastating. I know what it is to liquidate a company and lose the lot, brought to my knees. I know what it's like, but I also know that I'm meant to be doing this as an entrepreneur, meant to be doing this, sharing what I've learned over that time. And so the Her Transformation Program came about because I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I said, "Look, I've learned." She said, "You've learned a lot of stuff. How can you put all this together to help small business owners?" I said, "Well, I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know it all. Hence why I've got a bunch of you wonderful ladies in here. And what I also know is we shouldn't do business alone. Business is hard enough as it is. We don't want to do it alone. So we need to surround ourselves with people that we like, know, and trust. We get that, right?" And so for me, the Her Transformation Program, it actually evolved over time, and I'm sure as if any of you ladies have popped in it, and Siobhan, you'll see a change in it as well. It's evolved over time as to what I wanted to help and share with women. What I knew was with women in business is it's hard. We shouldn't do it alone. We get given these labels as women. We're the wife of someone, the partner of someone, the dog owner of someone. We're all these labels and we accept them, right? And I love that I'm the owner of Sam and Willow and the wife of Paul. But that's not who I am. There's more to me. And as we get given and we accept these, or just we don't even argue the point. These labels, um, I feel that there comes a point of time, women in business, they actually start losing the connection to their business. And I've been there, and it made me physically sick. I didn't want to get up in the morning. My business was really hard, and I just went, "Wow, this is really hard." So who else is feeling this? How can I help and support women in business so that they can feel supported, guided? And it was really interesting. I did a poll a few months ago and I said, what is the one thing that women in business want today? And I gave them some choices: clients, money, leads, support. Support was the thing that came out resoundingly the highest, which was really interesting, right? We all want more customers, we all want more income, we all want to make good money out of our business. Otherwise, why are we in business? But support was resoundingly what they looked for. And so the transformation started this evolution. It started about 2 years ago, thereabouts. And so I started thinking about what I wanted to help women to reconnect to why did they start their business, because they sometimes forget. And we've got vision and purpose and values and all those things that need to align. And then I wanted, well, what are your goals? What does success look like for you? Oh, well, and I found often their goals were really small. And that's really dangerous for me as a resilience coach. It's really dangerous. And I would say, well, what would it look like if you add some zeros to that? If you 10 times it, oh, that's a little scary, but maybe a little bit exciting as well. And then transformation phase. And the transformation phase was absolutely deliberately called that because what really gets up my goat is we do these amazing webinars, we do courses, we get excited, and then we do nothing. All that sort of dissipates, right? I go, oh, crikey, no. We're on a path. So the transformation phase for me is about how do we work with you to transform, and that's where some, the coaches all coming in through various areas of the program. And then the very end, I then give them access to my business planning basics. Well, let's put it in writing. Let's get this thing to go together, and let's get ready to scale our business. So that's what I visioned, and that's what I've created. So I'm really excited, and I have to say somewhat proud that I pulled this program. I don't think this exists anywhere anymore. I'm pretty confident that that's the case. So I think that's enough from me. So I'm just going by the list that I have here. Simone, I have known you a very long time, and I met you, I think it was at Women's Network Australia, at one of the very early events. And
It was indeed.
and you became my coach, right? For a
Yes,
while, you were my
exactly.
actual business coach, and you helped me get through some lumpy periods. So I want to know, like, storytelling is your bag. I get it, and you are amazing at it. So tell me, how do you help women harness the power of storytelling to grow as leaders and entrepreneurs? Because that's what you share in the program, right? Let's hear from you. What's your thought? What's your response to that?
Okay, so let's just clarify a little also about storytelling, because often when we hear that word, we tend to think about it as, like, oh, once upon a time. And it's couldn't be further from the truth. Storytelling in business in particular, so business narrative, it's not a fairy tale. All right, it actually arises from that very deeply lived experiences that we all have as women entrepreneurs, as business leaders, whatever it is that we come to the table with. So essentially what I help women do essentially is to find their voice as a storyteller, but through like their business, like what their business voice, what is it that they want to share with the world. So I help them understand the framework of how they might put their own lived experience together in such a way that it actually resonates with their ideal audience. So, if you have someone who is creating a marketing plan for their business, they need to know how to share the story of their business. What is it that they do? So, I help women understand that kind of framework and how do they amplify their voice in such a way that they stand out from the crowd. Like, one of my favorite sayings, and I put it everywhere these days, is don't just be a voice in the crowd, be the voice that everybody stops to listen to.
Mm,
And that is what story does for us. That's what it does for us as women in leadership, as women entrepreneurs. It's what helps us stand out from the crowd. So, helping women to understand the power of their own personal story. And there are women, many women that I work with who go, oh, but my story is not interesting, or, I haven't had any major hurdles that I've had to overcome. But if we really look at our experience, everything that we've lived through to the point of where we are now, there are many things that we've overcome, and they might be in the moment, they might not seem that big, but when we look at them in the rearview mirror, we can recognize the lessons that we've learned from that. So it might be lessons around building our resilience as business owners. And of course, yourself, Joanne, and everything that you've gone through with your businesses over the years, you've got some wonderful stories there. So understanding the power of story and how we can shape them to be more impactful in the way that we share
yeah,
what we do with our ideal audience. So that's essentially what I help women understand and deliver.
beautiful. And I know for me, I've started sharing a lot more of my personal and business story, I'm going to say in the last 2 months. And
Mm-hmm.
the response that I've received across social media channels is, I didn't know about that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Yeah, all sorts of things, but lots of connection. And so, Simone, I can say firsthand that while some of them have been really uncomfortable for me to share, I've decided that I will. And it's helped me to connect with more women than ever I have before. And so I
Mm-hmm.
love that that's what you do. So, in what you do in working with women in talking about stories, how do you help them to overcome those barriers? Like, as I said, I felt quite nervous, and I actually put a comment at the bottom one. I really felt nervous about sharing this, but I thought, oh, stuff it, I will anyway. I actually wrote that in there because I went, oh, I'm not really sure how it's going to be taken, right? So how do you work with
Yeah.
women to help them work through those challenges?
Well, I think we have to understand that a story is it's more than just the words. It's essentially it's a framework that helps us make sense of the world,
Mm,
helps us make sense of our world and where we've come from. And yes, one of the very first things is to overcome that fear of being vulnerable. And we have to be able to tap into our vulnerability if we want to be able to share our story, because it'll be somewhere in one of those stories that we share, no matter, and we might think, oh, who wants to know this? But you feel almost compelled sometimes, as you just shared, Joanne. We feel almost compelled, like, I have to share this, I have to let people know that it's not been a bed of roses, and that from this struggle, from this challenge, I've learnt these things. And so helping women to overcome that sense of fear, because there's a lot of fear
mm,
in at the base of that sharing our story, being vulnerable, but I, like Brene Brown says, vulnerability is a strength. And I talk a lot about tapping into the strength of our own vulnerability when we share stories, helping us to overcome that fear of sharing those personal aspects that have actually made us the kind of leaders that we are now.
yeah,
And being willing to just take that step first, and also kind of rewrite that limiting belief that we might have about,
mm,
is my story worth sharing?
mm,
I don't have anything, and that's probably one of the ones that I work with a lot with women, is rewriting that belief, that limiting belief around, I don't have anything important to share.
mm.
So overcoming that first and helping women to see, and not just women, I work with men and women, but predominantly for this program, of course, helping women to understand that it is simply a limiting belief that we have nothing important to share. And how do we rewrite that narrative?
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Simone. And that leads me really beautifully into Bron. So I know resilience and purpose coach. It's your the core part of your coaching, right? So what's your approach to help them reclaim their purpose and thrive? Like I know you have some amazing content that you share. So yeah, please.
Oh, look, the things I really want to pick up on what Simone was saying. Our lives, if we've lived more than a couple of decades, we have a richness to our lives. We might look at our lives and think, oh, I haven't done much, or I'm just like everybody else. The reality is, there is no one like you. There's no one else like me. Um, and that's not just fingerprints, my voice tone, all of those things, even my face. Even if I was an identical twin, I would be different.
Mm,
So I think that's the first thing to remember for all of us, is that we are different and unique, and that we are enough just
mm,
as we are. Despite the messaging, I'm someone who has grown up with the sit down, be quiet and play small messaging, around the boundaries, um, in the sort of subculture within Australia that I was raised in. And it has literally taken me decades to rewrite that story, Simone. So you and I have a lot of things where what we bring crosses. So remember that you are enough and that you are unique. But also, and I remember the first time I heard this, is the thing that often makes us afraid is that we are more powerful than we imagine. And I understood that because I knew I was powerful, but that made me afraid because I had never. It's like having a superpower that you've never tapped into, and you wonder what will happen when you do. Well, gosh, guess what? I've tapped into my superpower and I don't care anymore. I think part of it's my age. It's wonderful. Like, I'm 68. I love this time of life. It's like, I don't care what you think of me. There are still things that challenge me, and that I won't say I second guess myself, but I've got to that point in my life where I know I'm powerful, and my voice, coming back to what Simone is saying, my voice and my story is just getting stronger and stronger. So I want to be able to share, and that's what I do share with women. This is true for all women, period. I talk about, I have a keynote as a speaker, I have a keynote called Superheroes in Disguise. The subtext of that is unleashing the power in women, because the reality is we all have power, and it's not just tapping into it, it's unleashing it. Kaboom, let's go. To your capes, you superheroes. You're on mute.
I was coughing, so I muted myself and forgot to unmute myself. So thank you, Bron. So what I was saying was, anybody, please jump in if you have any comments. Don't feel that I've got to lead this conversation. You're most welcome to jump in. Tapping back into you, Bron, with resilience, and for me, resilience is an important part of what I do with women in business. So can you give some examples of how you've helped women navigate this, building their resilience so that they are thriving and purpose-led?
Yeah, one story that I like to tell and that women find useful is from my own life, when just after I had left my first marriage, was moving through divorce. I felt like a little frog on a rock in a pond, and I didn't know where the edge of the pond was. I knew I needed to get there. Didn't know what it looked like. What I realised is that I only needed to know where the next rock was to jump onto. And I think that's the essence of resilience, is you don't have to have the big picture. You only need to know the next step, because we can all do the next step. Resilience isn't a big thing. It's a day by day, week by week, decision by decision moment. And it's that metaphor that I have found a lot of women really resonate with, that we don't have to have the big picture. We just need to know the next rock.
Little steps. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Bron. I'd like to now move to Gaelene, strategic business mentor, all the way from New Zealand. So I appreciate you jumping in. It's probably about 9:30 in the morning for you, or is it earlier?
No, it's later. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. It does hurt my brain dealing with all these times. It's very tricky. So you help us and deliver the contribution compass within the program, and I just love the name of it, let alone what it shares and helps people to understand. So can you give a little bit of an insight as to how this contribution compass enables women to understand how to move forward and thrive in their business?
Absolutely. Can I share my screen?
You may.
Because I think the visual is probably going to be a little easier to
I think
run.
I don't think I need to give you permissions.
Let's have a go, huh?
Button down the bottom. Yep.
Not that one. Let me find the right.
It's an arrow that points to the right.
I know what I need to do. Sorry, just give me a second. I need to move it as a separate tab. One moment, please.
All good.
Now let's go. Make sure I give you something interesting to see. I can't find it.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, yes, it is. Found it. Okay, cool. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So Contribution Compass is a profiling tool, and it follows a lot of the same principles as other profiling tools, except that it goes a layer deeper. So if you can see, we've got we call these 4 core energies that sit around the outside, but then there are lots of profiling tools that have 4 energies or 4 different types of personality. But then we take it down to another layer, which gives us 8 personalities that sit underneath it. And because it's got this extra layer of detail and understanding, it helps people to truly identify with whatever the profile is that they have been profiled as by answering a questionnaire. I'm just going to stop sharing now. Can you see me now?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, good. I want to see your beautiful faces. So the purpose of Contribution Compass and how it works, especially for women, is it allows you to truly get positive and high quality feedback about what you bring to the table, the contribution that you bring. I've profiled since I was about 21, and I'm a little older than that now. And what I discovered was quite often I was very confused by what the profiles results were telling me. And I was trying to put myself into a box. So one of the things that's really unique about Contribution Compass is our partner network around the world is not allowed to just give you a profile and let you interpret it yourself. So every profile has to come accompanied with a personalized debrief, which allows you to understand how is this showing up in your life? Where are the strengths that you bring to the table? And it anchors it back to, especially if you've got some time in the saddle in your career, we anchor back to where has this been showing up in your life in a positive way, but also where is it that you've struggled, perhaps in a career or maybe in a relationship, where we call that being out of flow. And it's very clear imagery and messaging around this is what flow looks like for you. This is when it's easy, when things show up and there's serendipitous moments where you can lose time because you're just so absorbed in whatever it is that you do. And I think we've all got parts of our business that we have to do, but it might not be what our natural strength is. So we can all identify that, oh yeah, that's the bit that I'm not so good at. But oh, this other piece over here, I could just do that all day and I would still have energy to burn. So it's very clear about what does flow look like, what does flow not look like for you, and then anchors back into what flow is for you is how you deliver value to others. That's the contribution value that you are contributing when you're in a group environment. And it also explains who you need on your team. There are 2 other people that you must have on your team, 2 other profile types, in order to keep you in flow. So as a business leader, that's incredibly useful information to know, and we can use that then to help to hire the right people. So it's a profiling tool, but it's also a business system, and it's also a recruitment tool. It's a job seeker tool. It's a tool for creating better communication across all levels of a team. It can be used at the C-suite. It can be used with your cleaner, and everybody in between. It can be used with your husband, your wife, other family members. So it's a really powerful multi-purpose tool that helps you understand the value that you bring to the table and the actionable items on what you should be doing to maintain your own energy flow, and also what you shouldn't be doing, because that will deplete you.
Amazing. Thank you, Gaelene. You've actually answered my second question, but I will make a comment. Thank you. Because I had my profile done with you as I was building the Her Transformation program. And I would say to you the insights I gained of where I was on flow. And we have an innate sense of that, because if you say to somebody, where do you lose time? Oh, well, give me a good spreadsheet. Joanne's a very happy girl. I love a good spreadsheet. But ask me to proofread something. Oh, it hurts my brain, and it's tricky. So what I loved about it was that it highlighted for me where are the 2 other areas that I need to bring into my team. And so for me at that time, it wasn't about employing somebody, but it was finding someone as a supplier, a contractor. I might outsource it. So there's different ways that we can do that to fill those gaps, right, Gaelene? And so I just found it incredibly useful to give me that insight. And there was like, oh, yeah, that just sounds right. Yeah, that sounds like me. Oh, whoa, yes, I totally get that. That's when I'm not in flow, and that's where I procrastinate. It takes me much longer to get it done, all those sort of things, right? So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Let's jump into Siobhan. Siobhan is a beautiful lady out of Western Australia. She's undertaken the Her Transformation program, so I'm so thankful that you're here as General Manager of Perks, which is an amazing platform. And if none of you ladies have heard of Perks, you need to go and have a look at it, because she provides wellness opportunities to all sorts of businesses at an amazing platform. So tell me more. I'm just going to let you speak. I've got some questions, but I know we've spoken many times about the Her Transformation program, and I'm really deeply thankful how you're such a great advocate of it. So please share with us what you got out of it.
Thank you. Oh, I have so much to say too, so please jump in if I carry on. But look, firstly for me, I came across Women's Network, which is where I met Joanne, and I went through her transformation program. I naturally am a little bit cynical sometimes with things, if I'm honest. But after meeting Joanne, and like Joanne is so authentic, and you're genuine, and the experience that you shared, which touches on what Simone has mentioned about actually, like you have it, that you've been through those hurdles and those challenges. So for me, it gave me a lot more credibility to be more vulnerable with you and share with you the hurdles and the challenges I was experiencing coming into a higher level role. And for me, I did not have any support network through my previous work colleagues in the level that I was moving up to. So through Women's Network, I created a bit of a structure there. But then going through her transformation program, I felt like I could rely on you. We met weekly, and I could bring to the plate anything I had going on. I truly felt like I had like an army with me to back up like all of the challenges, and to actually really tease it out and think about where this should be going. What does success look like to me? How does this challenge play out in the long run? And I found that incredibly powerful, to be able to have your secret weapon in business, basically. And I wasn't that confident in my role. Now, if you ask me, I would tell you there's nothing I can't do. So my mindset changed from can I to I can throughout this program, which is, for me, I would not say lightly. So firstly, huge thank you to Joanne and all the mentors who are in this call. I felt everything was rather bespoke to what I really needed, not necessarily what people in business. It wasn't about people in business, it was about me personally, professionally, even, spiritually in some levels. I really tapped into all of these areas I saw as weaknesses, which aren't necessarily now at the other end of that transformation. Some of those are secret powers that maybe I hadn't acknowledged. I found for me, going over some of the limiting beliefs, especially the unconscious biases, has been really powerful. So, didn't really realize I was taking, my mother's baggage with me through into my 40s. I'm not quite 40 yet, but it's amazing how much, as we unraveled, that I was carrying with me, that my beliefs. So that has changed my leadership style, my management style, and speaking with Gaelene, understanding my team better, and what their needs might be, knowing my role as a leader. Moving through all of that, like I'm a custodian, so understanding that is my natural nurture moment. That's how I teach and I train. Is great to be able to just own. Dressing for success. So I used to dress quite like all black, just all black. No, like not that I didn't put any thought into it. I just didn't really know where my personality sat. I dress now and I feel I'm actually more approachable. I feel like I like how I look. I know it's probably really topical, but it means a lot. Like I leave the house going like people know I'm happy. I'm dressed happy. I look at the way that I feel on the inside. So that for me was really powerful. Speaking in public, oh my goodness. So I wasn't nervous about coming here and doing this today. I can gather my thoughts really clearly with the help of Simone. All of the mentors in every aspect have been incredibly powerful for me. I'm probably the perfect person to be able to share my journey, and I'd happily share it with anybody. I highly recommend this. And for me, it's a full mindset shift. So I'd come into this role especially, but a lot of business for me has always been about me and me. I needed to get it done. I've had a full shift now to actually leveraging the contacts that I have. I've got support. This is my support network. I can pick up the phone anytime to Joanne, and she's there. We just met for lunch last week, and I feel like I have a friend alongside that support network. So it's just a full shift in mindset to success. And I constantly use everything I've learned on a daily basis in my work life, which is, I'm just so grateful. Oh, and you're on mute again, Joanne.
Sorry, still coughing. I have to say, Siobhan, I have seen, and I reckon Cheryl will be able to collaborate, and probably all of you, particularly even Jane. I've seen a complete shift in you, and it's going to be in your posture, the way you speak, the way you look, absolutely the way you dress. As I said, as I was saying before we started the recording, I met you last week. You had the most beautiful, colourful dress that I would not have seen on you before. And you looked $1,000,000, and look at you today. You look amazing today as well. And you're just glowing. And that's so gratifying. And so thank you. Thank you for that.
I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, doing what I'm meant to do, and I'm not holding myself back because of this, because I've gone through this journey, and I know I'm capable of more than this. It's all ahead of me, and this is exactly where I'm meant to be, and I'm doing everything I love now. So thank you.
My pleasure. Jane, we're going to slip to you now. Now, I'm going to start with why the styling session was so important for me in the Her Transformation program. I think I've shared this story with a number of you before. Probably, I'm going to say about 12, 13 years ago, I was in Melbourne and I got the opportunity to have a styling session done. It wasn't with Jane, sadly, it was with another lady. And I had my teenage daughter at the time with me. And so we both had it done at the same time. Because at that time, that was when the business was building very quickly, very large. I was asked to be on stage and to be speaking. And I went, oh, crikey. Working with Simone at that time as well. And I went, you know what? I'm going to go and get my colours and styling done. And at the end of it, it was, damn, I know how to fit. I know I look good, so I feel good. So it gave me that armor, that confidence, all that. So for me, I was absolutely focused on making sure that we had somebody like Jane and the caliber of Jane's ability to style women and her awards globally. They just keep coming, Jane. And you're a beautiful, generous woman out of Melbourne. So please share with me what your thoughts are and why this is important for you to share this in Her Transformation.
Thank you so much. Goodness. It's interesting. I've made notes after each mentor spoke because what I do, because I approach styling and fashion so differently, I go a lot deeper and draw out who you really are. So yes, there's colours and shapes and 30 years in the making, and I have created my own systems, that you don't find out there mainstream. So there's that. But one of the biggest things that I've watched over the years is women can be extraordinary at what they do, so knowledgeable, so highly educated, doing the things. And yet how they feel about their bodies, how they show up, confidence is so challenged. It's so fascinating. Even last week, and she actually rang while while we were on the call, a board member, global traveler, doing phenomenal things. And she leveled with me and she said, yes, I am self-confident, but my self-esteem about my body is rock bottom, that people don't, And I thought, yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? So there's that disassociation. And I would flip that on its head and say, styling and shape and owning and understanding truly who you are, we take up space differently. We own our space differently. Before you've opened your mouth, when you walk on stage, on Zoom, into a boardroom, whatever that is, you own it differently. And I watch women when they first start with me and they might, the body language might be like this, and by the end they're like this. And like, isn't that extraordinary? Yeah. That is so powerful. And I jotted down limiting beliefs. I would 1,000,000% agree. I think it was you, Simone, but I'm not 100% sure. How we feel about how we dress, limiting beliefs are definitely in there. I see women who hide, who I call it, she wore beige. There's nothing wrong with beige, but it depends why you're wearing it. If you are wearing it to stand back against the wall, don't look at me, don't ask me anything, I put black in that category. A lot of ladies do black. It suits some, but it's very harsh, very aging on a lot of ladies. So it depends why. It's the why, isn't it? And so really our superpower is stepping into that individuality and really owning it and walking with a wiggle like Marilyn Monroe. Like that is what, and the beautiful balance of femininity in business, particularly corporates, I find really, and lots of industries, really, really, really tone that right down. I understand all of that, but there is a way to do it that you can still own that part of you and be professional. Yeah. So it's a bespoke, what I offer anyway, is very bespoke, because I think we're this mix, this myriad of our experiences and our knowledge and our connections and our all that we are. I don't like being put in a box, and I don't imagine any of us here or watching want that either. So it's about that bespoke experience.
Thank you, Jane. For me, it creates a beautiful, we have a whole bunch of puzzle pieces, and we've now pulled them together to create something that builds a beautiful picture for women in business to actually be able to, and not just women who have businesses, but women in leadership positions. Like Siobhan, you don't own Perks, but you're in a leadership position, but you are a business owner of an area, of a division, if you will. And so this is relevant to anybody who's in a leadership role or a business role. So you're welcome to all come off mute if you have any comments, and even Cheryl and Marion and Mariam, you're welcome to hop off mute and make any comments.
I have one just to add to what Jane just said. So currently I'm a little bit heavier than I normally would be on the scales. My body's not quite the same shape as it has been 2 years ago. And normally I'd be going through my drawers, tearing things out, getting upset with myself. I am actually still just giving my body that same love. I've got plenty of clothes, something will work. And honestly, it is such an empowering feeling to know that, look, that doesn't fit, but I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm going to move to the next thing. I've never had this before, and I love that I'm in that mindset if it's actually all okay. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that, because it's not about the number. It's honestly not about that. No.
And the numbers that you hit, right? Because from one brand to the next, you might be a 12 and another brand, and you go, I just don't want to look at the number. Does it fit me? And does it look nice?
And it's not about that. It's really not. It's about so much more, and fabric and construction and shaping, pattern making. There's so many more elements. So.
Amazing.
For me, it's about energy. When you put something on and you feel good in it, and it's your colors and your style and expresses your personality, then you can't help but resonate at a higher energetic level.
Great.
People notice that. I notice that myself. I walk in a room and people are like, "Who's that?" And I haven't said anything, and I haven't made an entrance.
No, you haven't. You look at our lovely Siobhan today. She, your skin is radiant. I see these beautiful blue eyes. You've got all the right coloured makeup on, and obviously the colour of your face. Your hair's the right hue. You look radiant. You look like a lady. So whether you work for yourself or work for someone else, you are your brand. You look like such a fabulous advertisement of the brand of Siobhan.
Thank you.
I completely Siobhan. There's such a transformation, and it's deliberate. I see it, but you've also done the work, right? You've gone through the program, you've done the work, you go back to revisit it. We catch up every now and then, and I just see that you've fully embraced it, and that's what I want. So, thank you for being such a great advocate.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Cheryl, I see you've unmuted yourself. Have you got anything you'd like to contribute or share or whatever?
I did, Joanne. I wanted to highlight a couple of things. Firstly, the one that really stands out to me is the power of collaboration and how you've captured that through her transformation program. To transform takes more than just one element. And the fact that you're all here in this space, that is where that sort of transformative opportunity arises, because you're looking at it from slightly different angles and bringing your unique expertise.
I do think all of the mentors have been so carefully selected to get the absolute best out of the individuals going through the program. It's been a delightful experience as someone who's done it with each and every mentor, and all of you have worked together to help me transform from the inside to the outside. So not one part is overtakes the others. They all work really beautifully together to give you that end result. I agree.
Yeah, and I definitely, when I speak about it, I talk about it as being a true collaboration project, because I know I don't know it all, and I need these amazing women to help and support me in doing that. So thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else have any comments or words? I know Bron's had trouble with her mic, so she's popping out and going back in again. Simone, so you popped in and out as well. The wonders of technology.
Yeah, totally lost the signal, but found it again, so all good.
Back again. Very good. Well, thank you. So I'm just going to share with you an idea or concept of another mentor joining this program in the new year. So I will be taking this program to the UK and to the US through various networks. So I'm very excited for that. So one of the ladies that I'm in negotiations with now, she is an amazing sound healer. And she does that with her voice. She is a trained opera singer, and I've done some of her energy healing sessions, and I feel her voice go right through my body. So she is about to join the Her Transformation program. She will join, and will be the first element that you do in the Her Transformation program, to do an energy healing session to remove our limiting beliefs, because we need to be ready to learn and to build ourselves. As we get to the inspiration phase, where we're talking about goals and really big ones, she's then going to do another one of removing fear. And so I know this, adding her name is Rachel Wyatt. She, amazing UK woman, beautiful voice, amazing voice, that she will add this element to the Her Transformation program. And for me, I can't tell you how excited I am. I think this is going to take it to the whole other level. And I'm excited to get it to the US and to the UK, because I know it's going to make a huge difference. So hang on to your hats, ladies. We're going big. So for those who are watching this recording and here live today, you will get a copy of the recording. And I have in the email given every one of these mentors their contact details, their calendars. Go and speak to these ladies, book them, go and have sessions with them. I want all of the participants not just to experience them in the program, but I want them all to connect with Simone and Bron and Jane and Gaelene and Rachel when the time comes. I want them to connect with you and really take it to the next level. Don't just do it in the Her Transformation, but connect with them outside of it and build your network of trusted advisors, right? And get more out of it. So that's what's coming. I'm so excited. So excited. So thank you.
I'm so excited.
So Siobhan, you will get that. As I said, that will become part of your program. It will just naturally be added to it, and you will have access to that. So ladies, I have to say heartfelt thank you for coming and sharing your genius and your wisdom and your thoughts. And as I said, hang on to your hats. This thing's going to go big and go global.
I like
Congratulations. Well done.
Awesome. And I'd just like to say, Joanne, when she first contacted me, I was like, wow, this is super cool. And like any journey, it's never a straight line. There were a few false starts, and this is the process that we all go through in our own evolution. And the Her Transformation program is no different. But what is so powerful about this is that we are all transforming all the time, but this program fast tracks that process and gives you a really well thought out framework to step through, just step by step, just like the little frog stepping to the next rock, which is beautiful, powerful imagery. And, you know, we are all, I don't know if I can do an analogy around frogs and princesses or queens or heroes or I don't know. But, you know, the point is we are all evolving all the time. And it is the people that you surround yourself with that make a big difference in how your journey unfolds. So, you know, if you're not in the program already, then you're obviously here for a reason. So what's that reason, and are you ready to take that next step? Because you will be well and truly supported with the mentors in this program.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gaelene.
Yeah. Good.
Bron, I know you wanted to say something that you had problems.
Yeah, I did, and I think I've just had some issues with my internet, but that's okay, I'm back. One of the things that I want, and it was about our bodies, one of the things that I have been quite intentional about right across my life is to love my body each decade, because I've found each decade my body shifted. What it was like as a teen was different in my 20s, and then I had my children, so it changed again. And, you know, I'm in my late 60s, so my body looks different again. And I've often, you know, had to work with loving this new shape that I have. By the time I got about halfway through a decade, I was okay. And then, darn, the next decade had come along. But I think that's also feeds into the transformation, because I actually think this is an advantage women have, because we watch how our bodies transform across our lives. I think in much more complete ways and in different ways to the ways that men's bodies do. So we are actually living examples of transformation physically. Every one of us does it, and it's about accepting what this new shape looks like. And I think as we go through these programs too, we find a new shape for ourselves in our identities. Just even Siobhan with the colours that she's wearing, that's a new identity. It's a new shape. So it's about loving who we are right where we are and as we change into whoever we're going to be in the next decade.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you, Bron. Yeah, I can absolutely resonate with that. I've actually got a photo that I created that has me as 18 and the various looks I had as an entrepreneur over the time. I actually have it on my phone as a backdrop. And I did that deliberately because there was a period of time that I wasn't happy with how I looked, because I'm now size 14. I went, oh man, I used to be 10. Come on. But I will share something yesterday. I went to an event yesterday and I bought a dress that I would never normally wear. So it was the colour of my blue on my glasses. It was a bit like the willow pattern on the plates that we're all familiar with, but it was a puffy sleeves, nice pockets and a big skirt. And I wasn't sure. And I reckon I had 10 people come up to me and went, where do I buy that dress? That looks amazing. And I went, oh. So I went, actually, I need to embrace that. I look good and I need to accept that, right? But it's taken some time. I was a bit nervous about what. Yeah.
It's a process, isn't it? And I would add with that, with what Bron said too, like I tend to work with a lot of what I call midlife women. And so you've got hormones in the mix and what that does, and, you know, and I mean, that's me as well, and impacting not only how we feel about our bodies and learning to love the extra bits that weren't there and now are, and but also fabric choices.
Yes.
You know, once upon a time, a polyester something might have been okay, and then at a certain point it becomes a sauna. So there's different things that happen, and that's a flow of life, isn't it? And an acceptance and keeping on growing, because small business particularly is like the continuation of personal growth, which is fabulous. But keep growing and keep moving, and our look evolving, and it radiates. It's radiating from within. That's really one of the things. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm very recognize that we've gone over time. So thank you for your patience. I super appreciate you being here. Everybody who registered will receive this video. As I said, they're going to get the contact details to book Gaelene, Jane, Bron, or Simone, because I want them to connect with you ladies, because it's super important that it's not just limited to her transformation. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. And as I said, hang on to your hats. It's going to go big.
Thank you so much. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.